Oh boy! I can't wait to see what kind of games my audience wants me to review today. Let's take a look-see.
Have mercy. Please, please.
There is no mercy.
To preempt this video, I have two things to clarify. Firstly, this game is unfinished. It's even younger than Gravedigger, which I made a point to state during the previous video. The fact that it's unfinished doesn't mean it can't be good, but it does mean that I can't give it a fair shake. Second, this game is derivative by nature of a few sources. Frontline Corellia, the last shooter that Artifact Pixel released, Centara, the unquestioned trendsetter of the current genre, and Entrenched, the most established game in this setting. As such, I'll be comparing Horizon Blue to all of these over the course of the video. I'm not trying to say that you directly copy them, and there are a few things it does better and a few things it does worse. All that being said, Horizon Blue 1919 is a World War I shooter set during World War I, like the conflict that ended in 1918? I guess Gravedigger's influence goes deeper than anyone could have imagined. In any case, you play as the same old nameless grunt struggling in the same old war against the same old enemies to secure the same old battlefields. You've played this game before, probably a few times. Horizon Blue makes use of the genre's typical class selection system, featuring a small number of slots for specialty roles like machine gunners and shock infantry that are first come first serve. In games like Frontline Corellia, classes are effectively locked down for the entire match after the first 5 seconds. Meanwhile, Centara makes it so that people who use these classes have to take a break for at least one life after they die. Horizon Blue falls somewhere in between, where specialty classes do go up for grabs once a person using them dies, but it also doesn't prevent that same person from instantly reselecting their class and using it indefinitely. It's not a good design, and it results in a de facto recreation of the Corellia system where only a few people get the chance to be anything but a rifleman. The battles are set in this cool campaign map system, where the attacking team and defending team are struggling over crucial battlefields for territory. The team that won the previous battle has the initiative, and therefore gets to select where the next battle takes place. Once a team controls every point on the map, the campaign ends. I think this is one of Horizon Blue's coolest features, and it adds a sense of grandness to battles that would seem more repetitive in a vacuum. That being said, there are a couple issues I'd like to see addressed. Firstly, there's only one campaign as of now. Obviously, the game is young and there isn't a whole lot of content to be had, so Verdun will hopefully be supplemented in the future. The second issue I have is that there isn't any reward for winning a campaign. Sure, you get to see your team's color cover the entire map for a couple seconds, but there aren't any tangible spoils like XP bonuses. I would make it so that if a player sticks with the team for most of the campaign and that team ultimately wins, they'd get like 300 XP or something to keep it from being arbitrary. My final complaint is that having the initiative doesn't seem to do a whole lot for a team other than letting them pick the next battle and attack. It'd be cool if they got some sort of additional buff to maintain that momentum. Normally I'd complain about the third person, but I would consider Horizon Blue to be a third-person shooter at its core. It does take an interesting approach to aiming by foregoing traditional crosshairs and using a virtual laser sight instead, which is certainly unique. It does add a little bit of extra pleasure when you land a good shot. It's also more cinematic, a trait that Horizon Blue seems to strive for in many areas. I think that it succeeds on this front. It helps that the character design is excellent, mirroring the cosmetic quality of Frontline Corellia, while environments retain the filters and color palettes from newer games like Centara. Horizon also has a built-in cinematic free camera that you can use to get clips from anywhere on the battlefield, which is a good, if underappreciated, addition. Horizon Blue reuses the damage and healing mechanics from Frontline Corellia, and I'm a big fan of this system. It's not passive regen, so you have to actually take an action to begin the healing process, but it's also brief enough that it doesn't get annoying to apply bandages. One criticism I cut from my Gravedigger video is how unbearably long the medkit animation is. I swear I don't have TikTok brain, but sitting there holding left click for 10 seconds straight made me want to pull up Family Guy clips in a separate window. The UI in Horizon is the definition of clean. It's stylized without being obtrusive, and it fits the theme while staying in the background and letting you focus on the gameplay. I'm a big fan of the minimalist damage and kill indicators and the muted color palette. Oh my god, it even has a leaderboard. I wish Artifact Pixel would put that in all of their games. The only gripe I have here is that the weight and suppression bars are kind of unnecessary. You're never going to pick up so many hand grenades that you become over-encumbered, and your suppression status is already conveyed in other ways. Overall though, I dig it. The leveling system is a simplified version of Corellia's. Instead of building experience as both a soldier and a member of a specific class, you have just one consolidated level that unlocks loadouts for all classes. That's a nice addition. I think that the old system was on the grindy side, and this way people can move up through the ranks much easier. The downside is that most of the advanced loadouts aren't that much of an improvement over the base ones, if at all. The Berthier seems like a direct downgrade to the Lebel, and the Germans just get a different hand grenade. Ever since Centaura, artillery barrages have been a staple of the genre. 1 second, everything's going peachy, and the next, fragments of your skull are now miles apart from each other. The artillery in Horizon Blue isn't nearly as consequential as that of Centaura, but I feel like the fact that it comes in at such a shallow angle makes it more psychologically intimidating than something you can't see until it's on top of you. I agree with the reduced role of artillery. I feel like games using it to wipe out entire formations with no counter is not fun from a gameplay perspective. Finally, a few quality of life features. I think that if you affix your bayonet to your rifle, it should stay there even after you die. It's annoying to have to go through the process every time you respawn. Also, the out of bounds timer is strangely forgiving. It gives you like 30 seconds to get back in bounds, which lets people pull some downright disgusting flanks behind enemy lines. I can sort of get allotting this time for when defenders need to retreat all the way back to the next capture point, but then only make it that long in that scenario. Actually, the boundaries are kind of weird in general. I might have been mistaken earlier when I said the attackers don't have any buffs, because they're able to go way beyond the scope of the defender boundaries. Defenders are under house arrest. The devs practically make them wear ankle monitors. Meanwhile, you've got attackers going on vacation in the Bahamas and still being well within bounds. Overall, Horizon Blue isn't in a great place. It's by no means a bad game, leagues better than anything you'd see 3 years ago, but the market that's chosen to inhabit isn't as bare as it was back then. If it's gonna try to compete with established players like Entrenched or Centaura, it's gotta have a lot more content and something that makes it stand out from the crowd enough to warrant switching over. And I feel like it just doesn't have that sort of identity yet. Maybe they'll keep updating at a rate that gets it on the level of its competitors, but right now it's too little, too late. Hey, editing skit here. I'm not trying to hate on this game. Frontline Corellia is one of my favorite Roblox shooters. I play it even to this day. But man, I am sick of playing what feels like the same thing over and over and over again. And you know what's next on the chopping block? Whiz Bang. Stay tuned for that, but I gotta go to bed now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.